Greetings and salutations, everybody. Again, welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the internet, the John Campea Show, coming to you from right here on my YouTube channel. This is actually a second attempt at the live show. For whatever reason, the audio did not stream in the live attempt. No idea why. All the buttons are on, all the switches, nothing has changed. We just restarted the stream and all of a sudden now there's audio. But anyway, who cares? We're back and we're running again. So it's good to have you guys here. I'm just going to double check everything. And yep, we're getting audio. So yay, there's audio and there was great joy amongst the people. Hey, look, here on the John Campea Show every morning, we like to talk about all the stuff going on in the world of movies and movie news and the big topics going on in the films that you guys want to talk about today. Now, one of the things we do every day here is we take our question of the day. And yesterday's question of the day was about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And he was talking about, he confirmed that despite the rumors, there is no Black Adam cameo in the upcoming Shazam movie. Now, it's been over 4 years since they officially announced that Dwayne Johnson was going to be Black Adam. 4 years, and still nothing, and he's not even cameoing this thing. So anyway, yesterday's question of the day was a simple one. It was, is this Black Adam movie ever even going to happen? We had three options. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. And yes, it will, but probably not with The Rock. And here's what you guys had to say. You guys said, no, it's not going to happen. The majority of you guys said no, with 48.9%. Basically, 49% of you guys said no, this Black Adam movie is not simply going to happen. It's just not going to happen no matter what they say. 36.7% of you guys said, yes, it will happen. And another 14.3% of you went with that third option that says, yeah, it'll happen, but not with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So there's our results of yesterday's question of the day. You guys have spoken and you guys said no, the Black Adam movie isn't going to happen. Now, whether or not it actually will happen or not, we're going to have to wait and see, and we'll find out soon enough. We've got another question of the day today revolving around the Black Widow situation. We'll get to that in just a moment. For now, let's jump into our main topics today. Now, how do we pick our main topics? It's simple. You guys select our main topics. How do you guys get a topic or a question on the John Campea Show to be one of our main topics? It's simple. You just email me anytime at john@thejohncampeashow.com. Put the word topic in the subject line. And as always, guys, keep those emails to 90 words or less. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get on with the first official question today. And the first official question today comes to us from Jeremy Wallis. And Jeremy Wallis writes, "Hey John, love the show and tune in every day." Well, thank you so much for that, Jeremy. I really appreciate it. Wondering if you've seen the first official picture from Glass. Samuel Jackson looks just sick in that purple suit. I know you always say don't get too excited for just a picture, but I can't help it. I'm excited. What are your thoughts? All right, thanks a lot for the question, man. And yeah, so we've seen a few, like there was a poster that got released for Glass. We've seen some behind the scenes, candid snapshots. But this new picture of Samuel Jackson in the wheelchair, in that sick purple suit, is the first official picture to come out from it. And okay, just let me say, look, remember, we're just talking about a picture here. But holy crap, this picture looks awesome. This picture looks great. And I don't know if you can make it out, but he's got his little pin clip and it's MG, Mr. Glass, which is obvious. He's got that shiny sheen purple suit in his Professor Xavier wheelchair. Now, one of the things, I should have had the full picture here. The full picture of this image here doesn't show much more, but the one thing you see, if you look behind his wheel, the closest wheel to the edge of the screen here, you see that black, there's actually a body laying on the ground. And the body laying on the ground behind him is the part that really fascinates me. So is this like in the middle of one of his nefarious plots and he just killed a whole bunch more people to maybe try to draw Bruce Willis out of hiding? I mean, I don't know what's going on here, but it intrigued me. The fact that there's this body laying on the ground intrigued me. Then there's this woman standing behind him. I don't know, is that like his henchman or something like that? I don't know what's going on, but yeah, it looks great. Now, but one of the things you bring up in the email is something that we do really need to keep in mind. Never get too excited or disappointed about a still image. You know, we're seeing it out of context. Look, for all we know, this movie's going to be an unmitigated mess, just a total disaster and crap fest of a movie. But right now, all we're talking about is the picture. And I got to say, this picture looks awesome. I think he looks great. He's got the hair going on. He's got that serious kind of look on his face. He's got the MG tie clip. He's in the wheelchair, body on the ground behind him. It's a killer picture. It's a killer picture. And look, M. Night's been on a bit of a roll. right? Like, and it's not just Split. Like before Split, what was the name of that little horror film he did? Like, was it The Visit? I think that's what it's called, where the kids go to visit their grandparents. That was a damn good little movie. Not one of the top 10 movies of the year, but it was a damn good little movie. And it made people go, oh, M. Night, huh? Okay, right. And then he came out with Split. And hey, man, he's 2 in a row. M. Night, who became the laughingstock. I mean, the Shamhammer became the laughingstock. I remember it got so bad. When that movie Devil was coming out, and M. Night wasn't the director, but he was a producer on it. And I remember being in a theater, and a trailer played for it, and it says, from producer M. Night Shyamalan, and the theater laughed. Like, outwardly laughed at it. That's how bad it got. But you know what? The Visit was a damn good little film. Split was a solid little film. And now we got a lot of people very excited about this Glass film. We could be seeing the resurgence of the Shamhammer, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see how this goes. But yeah, this is just one picture. But as far as just one picture goes, it's pretty damn good. All right, let's move on now to the second question. And the second question today comes to us from Robert Norvack, who writes, strength and honor to you, Robert. Good gladiator quote there. I know you've never been excited about the idea of a standalone Black Widow movie, but I wanted to get your opinion on the news that Marvel appears to be moving forward and have even hired a director for the film. The other thing the story said was that it would take place before the Avengers, so I guess it's a prequel? Have you warmed up to the idea of a Widow movie? All right, guys, so for those of you who haven't seen, they did announce, the word has come out, that Black Widow is moving forward. They've taken that next step and hired a director. Now, that doesn't mean the movie's greenlit. Be very, very careful about that. That does not mean the movie is greenlit. But it is at that stage of development now that, a lot of other pictures don't get to the stage where they actually hire a director. A lot of movies do hire directors and still never happen, but they've brought on a director and it looks like this thing's moving forward. Now, I have always said I am not interested in a Black Widow standalone movie because I kind of see Black Widow and Hawkeye as kind of mirror images of each other in this way. I believe Hawkeye and Black Widow are both incredible elements in the MCU. They are incredible elements in the MCU. I love the Hawkeye character and I love the Black Widow character. However, I love them as supporting characters. And sometimes think the term supporting character is a bad thing. No, I mean, a movie can be made or broken by how good your supporting characters are. And I think that Hawkeye and Black Widow are incredible utility players as supporting characters that can be picked up and dropped into any MCU movie and elevate that MCU movie. You can take Black Widow and have her in Avengers, elevates it. You can take Black Widow and drop her in an Iron Man movie, elevates it. You can take Black Widow and drop her in a Captain America movie, elevates it. You can take Hawkeye, drop him in a Thor movie, elevate. You know what I'm saying? I just sort of see Hawkeye and Black Widow on that level. But I gotta be frank with you, as much as I love seeing them both in all the movies that they're in, I'm not interested in either of them as standalone films. And I remember saying that ever since the first Avengers film. When people talked about, we're going to get a standalone Hawkeye movie, and we're probably going to standalone Black Widow movie. And I've said since the first one, it's like, I love both of these characters. I'm just not interested because I think they work best as high quality, effective supporting characters. That's how I think they work best. And in this universe of gods and aliens and monsters, I mean, do I really want a Jason Bourne movie? Somebody, because Black Widow essentially, and Hawkeye, I mean, neither of them, they don't have superpowers. They're not enhanced individuals. They don't even have vibranium suits. In a universe that has all the vibranium in the world, they don't even have vibranium suits. Now, some people might say, well, John, you like Batman. Batman is a unique situation. Don't try to compare Batman to this. Batman is kind of the exception that proves the rule. But anyway, that's just how I always kind of felt. You could put Hawkeye and Black Widow in every single MCU movie. I'll be happy. I'm just not really interested in standalone movies for them. That's just the way I feel about it. That's just me. However, there are a hell of a lot of people that love the idea of a standalone Black Widow movie because she's a great character. And she's been played amazingly by Scarlett Johansson. She's been able to bring the physicality to it, the acting chops, the whole bit. She's great. So a lot of people are very excited about this idea and the notion that they've now brought on a director and it looks like this standalone movie is going to happen. Well, I'm not all for it. I mean, I'll definitely see it and I'll be excited to see it, sure, because it's another MCU movie and it's got Scarlett Johansson, so sure. But I really would rather them spend their time and focus their attention on other movies rather than a Black Widow movie. But hey, there's enough people out there who want it. But by the way, guys, that does bring us to the question of the day. And our question of the day today does revolve around the Black Widow situation. And the question of the day today is a simple question for you guys. Should they even be doing a Black Widow movie? In the description of this video, there is a link at the bottom for you guys to go and click and register your vote. Should they even make a Black Widow movie? And there's 3 options here. Yes, they should because she's awesome. No, they shouldn't make one with her. Or maybe make one someday, but now's not the time. Like maybe in 5 years or something like that. I got a feeling most of you are going to either vote yes or no. But there is that third option there in case you want that third option. So once again, in the description of this video, you will see a link to the question of the day. Click on that and then you got 3 options. Yes, they should make this Black Widow movie. No, they should not. I got a feeling I'm going to be in the minority here. Or sure, someday, but maybe not now's the time. Now's not the time for it. So those are going to be your options. We will, of course, look at that. As a matter of fact, a few of you guys have already been voting in there. Let me refresh this results page right now and just take a look. As of right now, even though I just announced it, for 51 of you have already voted, and I'm losing. I'm losing bad. Right now, 64.7% of you guys are saying, yes, they should make this movie. 27.4% of us are saying, no, they shouldn't. And 7.8% of you are going with that third option, Sunday, but now's not the time. Now, that's just the initial results, guys. You guys got 24 hours to vote on this thing. We'll look at the actual results of this poll on tomorrow's actually, I should say on Monday's John Campea Show. Wait a minute. No, today's Friday. Yeah. So on Monday's John Campea Show, we will look at the results of this thing. So you guys got like all weekend to vote on this. Once again, description of the video, bottom of the description. There's the link for the question of the day. Click on it, answer it, let your voice be heard. All right, let's move on to the third email of the day. And the third email today comes to us from Philip Jorgerson. I'm always bad with names, man. Sorry about you. Philip Jorgerson writes, like a lot of people, I had a little trepidation about the idea of a new Joker movie outside of the DCEU, even with Joaquin Phoenix. But this new interview he just did about it makes me feel a little bit better. He talks about how much he loved the script and that he's been wanting the studios to make a character study movie of a villain for a long time, and now it's finally here. What did you think of his comments? All right, so we talked the other day about how it's now official. In September, they start shooting this new Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix. I'm excited about it. Now, there's a lot of people that have, like Philip said, some trepidation about there being a second Joker movie that's outside of the DCU, all that kind of stuff. I get it, but I made the argument that I think there's a lot of upside here. That some of my all-time favorite comic book stories are Elseworld stories. Whether you're talking about Red Sun, The Dark Knight Returns, stories that take place outside of the continuity of the ongoing comic series and is kind of an Elseworld story. Some of my all-time favorite comic book stories are Elseworld stories. So why not in the movies? Why not give it a shot with the movies? It might work, it might be a disaster, but why not give it a shot? Give it a try. Take the handcuffs off the storytellers. Let them tell a story without having to worry about, make sure everything's in continuity with everything going else in the movie world. No. Do whatever you want. Tell whatever story you want. You're not handcuffed to anything in the DCU. Go make your movie. And by the way, bring on one of the best actors in the world, Joaquin Phoenix. And let's see what happens. So I've always been kind of up on that. Anyway, Joaquin Phoenix was recently interviewed, and he had a few comments about the whole situation as well. One of the things he talked about was how much he liked the script. That's one of the things that drew him to it. And remember, he's very picky. He's extremely picky about which movies he'll be involved in. But anyway, this is what Joaquin Phoenix had to say. Talking about the director, he said, he seems to have a very interesting understanding of this world and what he's trying to say. And so there is something very appealing about that and working with him on this particular project. It feels unique. It is its own world in some ways, and maybe, mostly, it scares the fucking shit out of me or something. It might as well be the thing that scares you the most. I love that one thing he says there. It scares the fucking shit out of me. It might as well be the thing that scares you the most. You know, Joaquin Phoenix also went on to say that he actually talked to his agent years ago about saying, hey, try to get the studios to do like a character study movie about one of the villains and really go deep into one of the, in a character study sort of film with these things. So he's been talking about doing that for a long time. Now, of course, Joaquin Phoenix flirted with being in a comic book movie before, because remember, it was pretty much lined up. He was in negotiations to be Doctor Strange. That obviously fell apart. Benedict Cumberbatch comes along and he does a great job as Doctor Strange. So now we're getting him as the Joker. I think these comments are great. I really do. I think his approach to this and his comments on this, saying that he got attracted to it because it scares him. I love that, especially coming from a guy who's not like all there really, like Joaquin Phoenix, who just like soaks into those characters and brings us some tremendous performances as a result. I mean, this guy's got a little bit of Joaquin Phoenix. I don't know if you've seen him interviewed, a little bit of a screw loose, but I think that just adds to how good he is as an actor, to be honest with you. So yeah, I got to tell you, man, myself, I like the comments. I like hearing that that's what attracted him to it. I like that a guy who is as picky about the movies he's going to be in looked at this and thought, this scares me. This is interesting. I want to play this role. And now he's doing it. And I think that speaks volumes about his potential. Again, that ain't saying that the movie's going to be any good. It might be an absolute train wreck. But to me, I think it's at least you got to say it's a bit encouraging. Okay. Let's move on now to the next email of the day. And the next email today comes to us from Anthony Williams, who writes, hello, John. Hello, Anthony. Big fan. My question is, regarding the announced Spawn movie, do you think it's being made because of the success with Black Panther? Movie studios seeing that African Americans, like myself, will spend our money to see ourselves represented on film and will support films that do. Keep up the good work. All right. Thanks a lot for the question, Anthony. I appreciate that. And this is a question I've heard a couple people have actually come to me a couple of times, but I didn't realize that it was actually a growing theory. And the theory is this, that, you know, McFarlane, who's been trying forever to get a new Spawn reboot off the ground and running, years and years and years and years and years he's talked about it. Never happened, and now it is. And some people are wondering if it's due to the success that Black Panther had. Is Black Panther's success the reason that Spawn is happening? And it's the timing of it all makes the question a fair question. Because like I said, McFarlane's been trying for over a decade to get a new Spawn movie made. And now it's all coming together. Now, right in the afterwash of the big success, both critically, quality-wise, and financially, of Black Panther. Is it because of that? Is it because they believe, oh, okay, so there's an African-American audience out there who wants to see these types of films and we're going to make it for them and that's why we're doing it? I have to admit, I don't think that's the reason. And I don't think that's the reason for a couple of points. And you may agree or disagree with my points. I might be right or wrong, but you let me know. One of the biggest reasons I don't think that really has anything to do with it is because of the fact that I bet if you go to a movie theater, right? Stand outside of the movie theater after a Mission Impossible Fallout plays and interview the 500 people coming out and ask them, figure out a way to word it, if they knew that Spawn was a black character. I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to tell you right now, 95% of them have no idea that Spawn's a black character. I probably 50% of them never even heard of Spawn. And those that have heard of Spawn only know him as you see him right here. The mask, the creature, that sort of thing. I bet you dollars to dimes that if you survey 500 people, average film fans coming out of an average movie, and you ask them, did you know that the Spawn character is an African-American character? I'm going to tell you right now, I think 95% of the people don't even know that. Straight up, 95% of the people out there don't even know that. And I think on that basis alone, you can probably look at it and say, well, that probably isn't the reason then. Since 95% of the audience doesn't even know that the character is an African-American character, although they'll do a lot to try to inform the audience with the marketing campaign because you got Jamie Foxx in the role, but still, it seems to be a little bit counterintuitive to make that your reasoning when most people don't even know it's a black character. So I don't think that's probably it for that reason. Also, I think history has shown us that, look, the movie-going audience, the white movie-going audience, the Latino movie-going audience, the black movie-going audience, the Italian white dude movie-going audience, we're not simpletons. We're not simpletons. The Latino movie going nuts just goes, oh, there's a Latino in it? Well, I'm going to go see it. Like, they're not that. The black movie going audience aren't a bunch of simpletons. Oh, you've got a black character in it? Well, we're going to rush out and see it. No, you still got to make something quality that entices the audience, them as film fans, to want to come out and see it. I mean, there's a reason Proud Mary, that was just out a while ago, nobody went to go see that. Despite the fact that we had an African-American lead, action heroine, in a strong lead, but the movie was crap, so people didn't go see it. We, the movie-going audience, whether we're the white demographic, Latino demographic, Italian demographic, black demographic, Asian demographic, whatever, we're not a bunch of simpletons. You still got to make a movie that looks good to us. Black Panther looked awesome. And that's the main reason why. Now, was there a little bit of that, like you were saying in your email there about, hey, there's an added bonus of that we're getting some representation of our demographic on the screen. Is there some of that? Absolutely, I believe there's some of that. But I just don't believe that the audience are simpletons. You still got to make a movie that looks really good. So when you combine that with the fact that I think 95% of the audience don't even know that Spawn is an African-American character, it kind of leads me to the conclusion, and you know what, maybe this should have been our question of the day. It leads me to the conclusion that Spawn happening now, while the timing of it makes the question a fair question, I believe that the question of, is Spawn happening now because of the success of Black Panther, I'm actually probably going to say no. I'm going to say it was coincidental. I'm going to guess that it was coincidental. That's my guess, at any rate. Now, I have my doubts about this movie, but fingers crossed, let's hope they make something worthwhile. And look, the fact that they got an Academy Award winner like Jamie Foxx up there, the fact they got an Academy nominee like Jeremy Renner in there now, and for those of you who don't remember, Jeremy Renner has just joined the project as well. The fact that Blumhouse is on there, look, I'm skeptical of this movie, but even I got to say some good pieces of the puzzle are starting to fall into place. So maybe there's something really cool to see here. We're just going to have to wait and see, I guess. But let me know what you guys, even though it's not the question of the day, and damn it, I really should have made that the question of the day. I want to know what you guys think. Do you agree with me right now that, I don't really think that's the reason? Black Panther probably has nothing to do with it. Or maybe do you have some good counter arguments to that? Change my mind, man. I love it when you guys change my mind. Jump down to the comments section. Let me know what you guys think. All right, let's move on to the final emailed in topic today. And the final emailed in topic today comes to us from one of our Patreon supporters, D. Copeland Patience, who writes, hey, John, congrats on the 1-year anniversary and the recent nominations for the show. Thank you so much, D. I appreciate that. As a Patreon supporter, I was wondering, what's next? If we look back this time next year, where do you want to be? Well, thanks a lot. This is a little bit inside for those of you who are regular viewers of the show. This isn't big movie news or anything like that. Where do I want this show to be in a year? You know what's funny? And I'm just going to share what's on my mind and everything with you guys here. Okay, this isn't movie news. This is just for you guys who are regulars of the show. If you're not a regular show and you want to tune out now, by all means, tune out now. I totally understand. I'd tune me out too. So, what's really cool about doing my own thing is that I bring with it different expectations for myself and different desired outcomes. Like, I remember when I was running things at AMC or at the last place I worked, people would often ask, where do you want things to be in a year? And my projections were always bigger, and we always got bigger. And my projections were this new grand thing, and the grand things happened. And I want to do this, and I want to do this. And we grew and grew and grew when I was there. But to be honest with you, doing my own thing, and you can go back to when I first started out, like my vision and dreams and goals for the John Campea YouTube channel have never been that. You know, when I was at AMC, it was like, I dream of building an online media empire. When we moved all to the other place, keep growing, building, developing, blah, 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 till we have like a global media empire, blah, blah. But in doing my own show, I really don't have those aspirations. All I want is a good, fun, online community that we can get together, talk about movie news, and have a good community of people here viewing and supporting and watching it as well that we can engage with every day. And if I can do that every day and pay my bills, if I can do that every day and pay my bills, then that's where my aspirations end. Now, corporate mentality is you either grow or you die. And there's truth to that in a corporate setting. One of the advantages of me not being in a corporate setting anymore and just doing my own thing is that I can just do what makes me happy. And look, there are obviously things I could do to grow the channel more, but there's a reason I don't. Like, sure, I could do react videos just like everybody else does. Do trailer reactions. I've had a lot of people email me, do trailer reactions, because they get lots of views, and they do get lots of views. But and sure, I took a shot at them, but I did just a couple of them. And I realized this isn't me. Like, I feel when I do these trailer reactions, I feel like I'm performing. I'm not just naturally reacting. And most of these trailer reactors, they over-exaggerate their reactions because they're on camera. I know a lot of the popular trailer reactors, and I've been with a number of them when they actually watch a trailer for the first time and then go, whoa, whoa, but like they do on camera. But that's for camera. That's part of the effect. I get it, and I don't judge anybody for that. But I just remember thinking, that's not me, so I don't do it. Yes, if I wanted to grow the channel and get videos with big, huge views, I could do things like that. But honestly, look, my goal when I started this channel 1 year ago, just a couple weeks ago, we had the 1 year anniversary, was in a year, I want to have 100,000 subscribers, and we're at about 130,000 now. And in a year, I want to be up to about 1 million viewers a month, 1 million video views a month. I hover around 2 million views a month right now. So the goal was 100,000. We've exceeded that. The goal was 1 million views a month. We've exceeded that. And I'm perfectly happy with it. I'll be honest with you. I am perfectly happy with it. It's not like when I was at AMC or the other places where I'm scrambling around constantly trying to think, okay, next growth avenue. What's our next vertical that we got to take advantage of? This is all the corporate speak. What's the next vertical we got to tap into and blah, 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 to leverage this and blah, blah, to grow that. And now we got to get to the next plateau and blah, blah. I have no desire to do that. I have a desire to work hard, and you guys know I work hard. I produce more videos in a day than most other channels do in a month. But I mean, I work hard, I enjoy working hard, and I just love the community that we have. And honestly, if 1 year from now, we were at 130,000 subscribers with hovering around 2 million views a month, I would be perfectly happy. Perfectly happy. I'm just doing everything I can do to make the best channel that I can, not to grow it. Honestly, my head is not in the space of growing the channel. Like, if I have some good ideas that make everybody else happy and they happen to grow the channel, then I'll do that. For instance, we started putting up individual clips of the shows, right? Because I had a lot of you guys asking me, John, can you put up the individual clips from the John Campea Show? And there's some upside to that. So I said, okay, I'll do that. Sure. If we can do things that grow the channel, that makes everybody happy, then I'm happy to do that. One of the other things that's going to change is that one of the great things about working for myself is that it affords me an opportunity to get involved in some other things outside of my channel. And I have been a little bit involved. I don't talk about them, but I've been a little bit involved. And look, as a matter of fact, I just had a meeting this week in Hollywood. Like, not in the Hollywood industry, but like in the city of Hollywood. I went to Hollywood and had lunch there, and had lunch with a production company about me producing something. And it's something that's got me kind of excited. And it's not going to take away from my channel. But where I see myself in years, hopefully still doing what I'm doing, hopefully being better at it than I am today, hopefully with our community, and maybe a few more people have come along for the ride, and also be at the point where I've got it down to the point where I have enough time in my week that I can also be involved in producing some other projects. Because at my heart, I'm a producer. I mean, I love producing, and that's what I love doing. And hopefully that'll be the case with that. So anyway, there's all that. Enough of the inside baseball stuff, though. Hey, listen, guys, a bunch of you guys have sent in some live questions. So let's get to those right now. Let's get to some of the live questions that you guys have been sending in. And by the way, we took an attempt at starting our live show earlier, and there was something wrong with the stream, so I had to kill it. And a whole bunch of people had already sent in live chats. These are all the questions that you guys had already sent in previously. Any of you guys who have sent in more live chats, Don't worry about it. We'll get to them in our upcoming companion videos, okay? So for now, let's get through these chats, these live questions that got sent in a little bit earlier. All right. This one comes to us from Peyton Williams, who writes, if Aquaman moves up, will the VFX be 100% ready? Oh, absolutely. They've been done shooting this movie a long time ago. They were working on the visual effects before the movie even started shooting. Like, they already had the movie all storyboarded out. They started working on visual effects before they even started shooting principal photography. They were working on the visual effects all through principal photography. They've been working on the visual effects ever since they finished shooting the damn movie. And no doubt. I have very little doubt that if they suddenly wanted to put this thing out in the middle of August, they would probably have a functioning ready copy in the middle of August. So by October, November, yeah, no doubt. I have absolutely zero doubt that we're going to have this thing ready and all that kind of stuff. So yes, I do believe that we'll be ready. They'll have it completely ready for whenever they want to launch this thing. I absolutely believe that. Hey guys, listen, I almost forgot. There was a breaking story that I needed to get to that I should have done before we went to the live questions. So we'll come back to the live questions in just a second. But there is a breaking story, and that breaking story that just came out this morning is this. They have announced they are officially moving forward with a movie version of the worldwide television phenomenon. I don't know how many of you guys watched it, but it is a worldwide phenomenon. Downton Abbey is being made into a big screen feature film that's going to be distributed by Universal. It's happening. It's going. And this quote was put out. This comes to us from Variety Magazine, who wrote the following. The film will be a Carnival Films production with Focus Features and Universal Pictures International distributing. Julian Fellows, who created the period drama, has written the screenplay and will produce the feature. Brian Percival, who directed The Book Thief, who also directed the original series pilot, will direct the film. Now look, that may not be of interest to some of you, but make no mistake about it. There is a global, worldwide, fanatical audience for this little show, Downton Abbey. As a matter of fact, Downton Abbey was the show that started my wife's obsession with British culture, in particular the royals. And I kid you not, she's going to kill me for showing this picture. I shouldn't be showing this picture, but she's in Rhode Island right now on a work trip, so I'm going to show this picture. This is how Anne without the one in her lap, and our friend Kaori, who you guys know, this is how they would get together to watch Downton Abbey. They would make tea and put on their tea hats and sit in my living room and watch Downton Abbey. Look at, they even have their little pinky fingers out. Look at that. Oh my God, you better believe she's going to kill me for putting that picture up. You better believe there is a worldwide fanatical audience for Downton Abbey. You're damn right. There is a fanatical worldwide audience for Downton Abbey. And they're moving ahead with a full-length feature version of it. Believe me, there are fans of this thing. And believe me, this movie's going to make bank. Will it be $1 billion film? I don't know about that, but this movie's going to make bank. For like a period piece drama, something you'd expect to make 200 million worldwide, this thing's going to make 500, 600, 700 million. I'm telling you right now, this thing's going to make like 500, 600, $700 million. It's going to be crazy big. Absolutely crazy big. Mark my words. Okay, with that out of the way, sorry I forgot to get to that. Let's get back over to the live questions now that you guys were sending in. And the next one comes to us from Ben Heyusa, who writes, was rewatching Army of Darkness yesterday. Such a classic movie. One of my favorite horror comedies next to Slither, Shaun of the Dead, Tremors, and Zombieland. Yeah, I mean, Army of Darkness. First of all, there are so many great quotes that were used in Army of Darkness that a lot of people still say today. I think a lot of people don't even realize came from Army of Darkness. Give me some sugar, baby. I mean, there's some great lines. Actually, Duke Nukem, I believe that took a lot of lines from Army of Darkness. Anyway, there's so many great lines. And look, seriously, I understand when you look at the poster of Army of Darkness, it looks like a schlocky little thing. And so that's turned a lot of people off. Listen, if you haven't watched Army of Darkness with Bruce Campbell as Ash, oh my God, watch it. Now, it is the third film in a series, but you don't even need to watch the other films. You don't. If you want to watch, the other films are totally worth watching too, the Evil Dead films. But even if you don't feel like doing that, you can just pick up Army of Darkness and just start watching it. Believe me, you can. You're in no danger at all. So take Ben's advice. Watch Army of Darkness. It's really, really great. Okay, let's move on here. Next one also is a follow-up from Ben Huser writes, since we are all getting solo movies lately, might as well come up with an Aunt May movie then, or a solo Alfred movie, because why not? Well, here's the funny thing, Ben. There's not a solo Alfred movie coming, but there's a solo Alfred TV show coming. Yep, they've already announced it. There's a new Batman universe film that's not going to be connected in any way to Gotham. But there is a standalone Alfred TV show coming. I believe it's about a younger Alfred when he was like still in the military service. I believe that's what it was. I may not be remembering that right. But it's just kind of funny. They're mentioning, might as well do an Alfred. Well, they are. Not a movie, but they're doing his own standalone TV series, which is funny. And I got to imagine it's probably only a matter of time before some brainiac actually pulls the trigger on an Aunt May movie. It's probably only a matter of time. I just hope it's a sexy Aunt May movie. All right. James Welsh writes, seeing the Mary Queen of Scots trailer looks good. It does look good. It looks really good. I have a little bit of trepidation about it. But overall, it looks solid. You got two of the top 15 best actresses in the business right now in Saoirse Ronan and Margot Robbie leading it. The costume designing in it looked incredible. It's a powerful looking period piece, a lot of intrigue, a lot of drama. They had everything in a trailer you'd probably want to put into it. So I got some nervousness about it. I'll talk about that another time. But yeah, the trailer does look good. Rodrigo Ortiz writes, without spoiling anything, what did you think of the Sicario 2 ending, and will we get a third? Well, how can I talk about the Sicario 2 ending without spoiling anything, really? But I'll say this. I was not a fan of Sicario 2, and I thought the ending was really cheap. I did. I thought the ending was really cheap, and I can't see them doing a third. I can't. I think they were hoping that this Sicario, hold on, let me pull this up. Sicario Day of the Soldado, of the Soldado box office. All right, so it's not doing horrible. Sicario Day of the thing isn't doing horrible, but it's made $54 million. Right? It's made $54 million. I don't think this movie's going to hit $100 million. So there's no financial reason to do it. I think they were really hoping that the quality and popularity of the first film would really propel this second film to do bigger. Probably they were hoping in the $200 million range, $250 million. But the trailer sucked. That second trailer they put out just killed everybody's enthusiasm for the movie because it gave the whole movie away. And quite frankly, I didn't think the movie was very good. Nowhere near as good as the first one. The first one I think is great. This one, honestly, I was disappointed with it. I was. So I did not like the ending, and we can't go into spoilers, but I didn't like the ending. I thought it was a cheap ending. And I don't think they'll make a third one. Number one, because this movie does not deserve a third one, but also financially, it's just not making money. So why would you want to make another one? You know what I'm saying? So I don't think so. But hey, there are people out there who like it, and maybe something can happen. Luna Comics writes, Catwoman is a cinematic masterpiece. Just kidding. I just wanted you to say that. Well, you got the words that come out of my mouth. Yep. Catwoman has the distinction. I have a holy trinity, or I should say an unholy trinity, of the all-time three worst wide-release studio major motion pictures. And those are Highlander 2, The Quickening, Battlefield Earth, and Catwoman. And so Catwoman shares that dubious distinction for me. James Welsh writes, will Peter Weller return in the RoboCop sequel? See, I brought that up the other day, James, because that's a question, right? They're saying, for those of you who missed it, the director of District 9, Neil Blomkamp, unfortunately also the director of Chappie and Elysium, which I thought they were both terrible. But anyway, the director of District 9, let's stick with District 9 because District 9 was good. The director of District 9 is supposedly, reportedly moving forward on doing a RoboCop movie that is supposed to be a direct sequel to the original RoboCop. So it's jumping on that new trend of ignore all the other films. Let's make a sequel to the original. That's what they're doing with Terminator. That's what they're doing with Halloween. I think that's what they're doing with another one. I can't remember what other film they're doing that, but it's all the rage right now. So they're talking about this RoboCop movie being a direct sequel to the original. And what I brought up when we talked about this story was, does that mean, are you going to get Peter Weller back? Is he going to come in? I haven't heard anything, but isn't that what you should do? I mean, if it is a sequel to the original RoboCop, don't you need to... Now, of course, if you're saying that this is a sequel that takes place 1 year after the original RoboCop, well, then maybe you have to recast. I mean, Peter Weller's obviously a lot older now. But, I mean, if you say that this is a sequel that takes place 20 years later, no problem. And look, you don't even have to worry all that much about Peter Weller aging, because all you see is this part of him, right? That's all you see. So that's all you'd really have to do, some CGI. And a lot of it, I'm sure he's going to have the visor down. So maybe it wouldn't be that hard. So honestly, I don't know, James, but that is the same question I asked. Does this mean you'll bring Peter Weller back? So I'm going to guess that they will, but at this point, I'm just guessing. But it seems like maybe it makes sense. We'll have to wait and find out. Okay. Michael Ginyard writes, "Hey, John, that movie you were talking about with Dominic Cooper is called The Devil's Double. Devil's Double. I think I called it Devil's Son, but you're right. It's Devil's Double. I just watched it this morning. It is a good film, and the groom and bride scene was very disturbing." So the other day we were talking about Dominic Cooper because I started watching Preacher again, and I'm enjoying it. I started watching that show Preacher again, and I started mentioning that where I really became a fan of Dominic Cooper was this little movie he did, and I forgot the name of it off the top of my head, but it was called The Devil's Double, where he plays Saddam Hussein's son's public body double for security, right? So they'd send him out, and he was a dead ringer for Saddam Hussein's son. So, of course, Dominic Cooper also played Saddam Hussein's son. And that movie made me a Dominic Cooper fan for life. His acting, I thought he should have been nominated for an Academy Award for his performance in that movie. He was incredible. It's a good, solid movie, and he was just absolutely crazy good in it, in the role. Like, just slayed it. Absolutely crushed it. Yeah, so that's what, but thank you for mentioning it, Michael. Yes, absolutely. It was called The Devil's Double. If you guys have a chance, you're looking for a good movie to watch tonight, check out Devil's Double. I think you're going to enjoy it, and you'll really become a big fan of Dominic Cooper. Akeem writes, "There were 14 people last night in my showing of a 3-month-old movie in Infinity War and 7 for Skyscraper. Shocking in my opinion. Could this be an indication of The Rock's lack of star Sorry. Could this be an indication of The Rock's lack of star power or just a bad movie? Let's see. Akeem, my friend, the last movie that The Rock was in came in just under $1 billion. Remember just a few months ago, that little film called Jumanji? And don't even pretend for a second that Jumanji would have made anywhere near $1 billion if it wasn't The Rock in the lead role. Obviously not. Now, of course, it also made great success because it was a really good movie and very fun and entertaining. But that movie doesn't make over $900 million if it's not The Rock in it. So look, we've established many times that the lead actor in a film, today's not the 1980s. Getting a big star of the film does not guarantee box office by any stretch of it. Even The Rock, right? Even The Rock. But I mean, at the same time, Akeem, you gotta be cautious about, well, in the theater I was in, this happened and that happened. That must be what's happening across North America. Look, last night I was getting close to finishing my work in time to run over to watch Skyscraper at AMC. So I jumped on AMC's website to see if there are any tickets left, and there was only about 7 or 8 empty seats. Now, granted, AMC Burbank 16 is a big theater, but there was only about 7 or 8 empty seats in the screening I wanted to go to. So just because in your theater there might have been only 7 people there, that doesn't mean that's a reflection of all of North America. Look, they're projecting that this Skyscraper movie is going to make anywhere between like $27 and $35 million, which will make it the #1 opening box office for an original action film for the year. It'll be the #1 because all the other action films of the year that opened bigger than that weren't original films. They were sequels or reboots or whatever. if it opens in that 25, 27 to $35 million range, it's going to be the biggest original action film opening of the year, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. But my goodness, no, I can't. I mean, come on, you're asking the question, dude, about he has a lack of star power. Oh, his last movie just a few months ago made nearly $1 billion for a Jumanji movie. So no, there is no question. There is absolutely no question, my buddy, on The Rock's star power. That's ludicrous. That's ludicrous, dude. Come on, my fellow film fan, Akeem. Come on, man. The notion of that is just ridiculous. But that doesn't mean, like, you can be the biggest movie star in the world, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is the biggest movie star in the world. But it doesn't mean it's not the 1980s. It doesn't mean just by dropping him in a movie that it's going to be a huge blockbuster hit. Not at all. My God, how much money did Rampage make, too? Rampage. A stupid, ridiculous notion of the film that had no business even making $100 million. And yet Rampage made $425 million. You think Rampage would have made $425 million? This ridiculous, silly notion of a film, if it was anybody else other than The Rock in the lead role? I mean, maybe it still would have made 400. Maybe it would have still made 375. But you put almost anybody else in that lead role, it doesn't make $425 million. It just doesn't. Jumanji does not make over $900 million without The Rock in the lead role. It could still make lots and lots of money for sure, but it doesn't make that much money without The Rock. The Rock's star power is unquestionable. It's just absolutely beyond question. That's not the issue. And I tell you what, had any other actor been starring in Skyscraper, let's say it opens at $32 million. Maybe it only opens at $29 million. Maybe it only opens at 28. Not a huge difference, but without The Rock in the lead, it makes less. And that is the testament to the star power of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So, and it also doesn't mean it's a bad movie. Like, nobody has seen it yet. Like, when the opening weekend comes, nobody has seen the movie. So you can't say it's a good movie or a bad movie till it opens. When a movie opens, and what it opens to is not a testament to how good the movie is, it's a testament to how good did they market it. The legs become about how good is the movie. But the opening weekend box office numbers for a lot of films isn't so much about the quality of a film as it is about the quality of the marketing of the film. Once you get past the opening weekend, then it's word of mouth, then does it have legs, then do people go back and watch multiple repeat viewings, all that kind of stuff. But so I would say, Keem, honestly, that I don't think it's either of your scenarios. I don't think it has anything to do with I almost giggle when I gotta say it, the lack of The Rock's star power. And I also don't think it's because it's a bad movie. From all reports I'm hearing, it's actually not a bad little movie. But it's more that the marketing didn't look good. Look, I've been saying all along, I didn't think the Skyscraper marketing looked good. The trailers didn't do anything to make me more excited for the film. And I think a lot of other people felt that way too. But hey, it is what it is. Okay, let's move on here. Curtis Lopez writes, I saw Leave No Trace at the ArcLight Hollywood. It should still be there. Oh, gosh. I'll be honest with you. I can't remember what Leave No Trace is. Hold on a second. Leave No Trace. Which one is it? It's the Ben Foster movie, right? Okay. So I didn't see it. I didn't see it listed there. Now, the ArcLight Hollywood studio to me is 12 miles away. Like, it's in Hollywood. I live in Burbank. So, I mean, that's probably why. But it certainly wasn't playing in any theaters near me, unfortunately. But knowing that it's a Ben Foster movie and knowing that's playing, I'm going to have to take a peek. And maybe I will have to sneak out and go watch it there. Thanks for giving me the update, Curtis. Sid Vicious writes, Christian Bale's Hostiles went into production without a distributor. How could that happen? What do you think was the thought process behind it? Oh, lots of movies. Dude, lots and lots and lots of movies go into production without a distributor. Lots of movies, especially like under independent banners, sometimes they try to sell to distributors before they start shooting. Like, they'll take the concepts to a film market and say, hey, this is our movie. This is who wrote it. This is who's directing it. This is who we have attached to star. And this is what it's about. We're going to go into production in a few months. You want to buy the distribution rights now? And often that happens. But quite often a film gets made and doesn't have a distributor yet. And then they take those films to film festivals. And then distributors bid and fight to get the rights to those films. That's what happens at a lot of film festivals. companies make a movie, they take their film to a festival, and then like Sundance and stuff like that, and that's where the market heats up, and that's where distributors go and watch these movies at film festivals and then try to buy the rights to those movies. So yeah, it's a totally common practice. It is an absolute common thing. I understand on the surface that might sound weird, but it is absolutely a very, very common practice. So it's not unusual at all. All right. Final live question of the day comes to us from Mr. Undecided Voter. I love that name. Who writes, my theater experience was ruined last night. Some idiot pulled the fire alarm, so the theater was cleared out. If you want angry New Yorkers, this is it. Oh, that's unfortunate, dude. That is really unfortunate. I'll just adjust it so you can see the question. Somebody pulled the fire. That's terrible. I mean, the same thing happens in restaurants. Same thing happens in malls. Same things happen in casinos. It's so, some pathetic loser thinks, oh, I'm going to be funny and pull the fire alarm. You're just a fucking loser. Anyway, it sucks. I mean, because like seriously, people could get hurt by pulling a fire alarm. Like if panic, heaven forbid if panic ever happens, like people could legitimately get hurt. It's just stupid. And the least of which is you're really inconveniencing people. So like people like you just trying to go out and watch a movie, you paid your money, you got a babysitter maybe, blah, blah. You've put a lot of money and you're investing time and money into your evening, blah, blah. Somebody decides to go pull a fire alarm. Oh, I'm so funny. No, you're a fucking loser. It's really too bad. I'm sorry you had that experience last night, man. That sucks. That really, no other way to put it, man. That just sucks. All right, guys, that will do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Like I said, I know there are still more live questions that you guys sent in. Don't worry about it. I'm going to collect all those live questions and they will be in a companion video upcoming. So that's that. Thanks a lot for being here, guys. Hey, listen, a couple of quick things. Number one of the whole reasons this show is possible is because of the support of my awesome Patreon supporters. Listen, guys, if you are somebody who enjoys watching my show, do me a favor, check out www.patreon.com/JohnCampea and get all the information about what it means to be a Patreon supporter, how being a Patreon supporter is responsible for keeping these shows on the air, and also what benefits there are to being a Patreon supporter, like audio-only versions of the podcast, our Facebook group, we got a great community, and maybe you'll decide you want to be a supporter of the John Campea Show too, which would be awesome if you did. Also, guys, I want to remind you, next week is Comic-Con, which means my annual Masters of the Web panel. Comic-Con once again invited me back to do the Masters of the Web. And this year, our theme is on something you guys have asked me a lot about, starting and growing your own YouTube fandom channel. We have a terrific panel of people here who know all about, from different perspectives, how to specifically start, develop, and grow a YouTube channel. And then specifically, like Scott Mance, who's the president of the Los Angeles Online Film Critics Society, giving a perspective of what it means for fandom and how to talk about movies and stuff like that. Doesn't mean you have to be a full-time dude at it like me. We need more people like you guys as a hobby for fun, engaging with and starting your own online voice with online YouTube channels, podcasts, things like that. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a jump start on how to do it. And I hope you guys will decide to come out and join me. That'll be on the Friday morning of Comic-Con at the Neil Morgan Auditorium at the San Diego Central Library, right across from the Convention Center. Hope to see you guys there. All right, guys, that'll do it for me for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thanks so much for being here. My name's John Campea, and until next time, bye-bye.